welcome to Bleed Advertising. This is the show about advertising and more, but now it is not. Now we have gone more specific. So our new tagline is going to be creative talk without the Kool-Aid. And that may seem like a contradiction because I just used the word tagline, and that's very Kool-Aid-y. So for those of us who don't know what corporate Kool-Aid is, or there's a more severe kind of Kool-Aid in advertising, and it's kind of like the tequila version of Kool-Aid. But what corporate Kool-Aid is, I'm sure everyone knows about corporate Kool-Aid if you work in corporate sector. But basically what it is, a bunch of years ago, there was this guy by the name of Jim Jones, very charismatic guy, and he kind of indoctrinated people into I'm actually leaving a lot out here, but essentially he ran a cult, and he would have these ceremonies where he would get his followers to drink Kool-Aid, and he told them that it would either be poisonous or it would be fine, but the only way to kind of show that you're a true believer is to trust, and people landed up drinking this Kool-Aid, and nothing happened. And eventually one day something happened. So that's the metaphor. And basically what we're trying to say here is we're doing creative talk, but without all the indoctrinations and without the frills. It's just tell it like it is. And that's the show now. No more advertising and more. It's all about creative talk without the Kool-Aid. So what are we going to be talking about on the show today? And as you can see, I am not joined by Jacque Moodley, the art director, the beat maker, and that is because I am going to be, me being Ryan Whyte, freelance graphic designer, I will be highlighting my favorite parts of episode 5 from season 2 of Bleed Interviews. And that particular episode features none other than Bernice Puleng. And now Bernice is a poet, she's a writer, she's a filmmaker, and all-round awkward human being by her own admission. And so basically just going to be highlighting my favorite parts from that particular episode. And it was a great episode. We recorded offsite for the first time, and we recorded at the lovely Toasted on Jan Smuts in Johannesburg, South Africa. And beautiful little toastery, if you could call it that. We noticed that if you add ERY to anything, it sounds a little bit more fancy. So bespokery, toastery, you can also get coffee there. So it was a fun time, but I'm rambling on for too long now. Let's get into the first highlight. So in this particular clip, Bernice Puleng, copywriter, Jacque Moodley, art director, and me, Ryan Whyte, freelance graphic designer, we are going to be discussing what it's like working in advertising. And we started off with a story that we've discussed on the show before about how people behave in advertising and perhaps infringe on personal spaces, and maybe that doesn't happen in other industries. So we take a little dive into that as well. Speaking about creative talk without the Kool-Aid, I'm talking about dives. You see, I'm a product of my surroundings, and my surroundings basically mean I'm around advertising all the time. So it's the law of conformity. So I've conformed to a certain degree. I'm affected. So let's take a deep dive into this particular episode where we discuss what it's like working in advertising. We compare it to other industries. And what else do we discuss in this? That's basically it. And we go off on tangents, Bernice gets distracted by a tapestry, a beautiful tapestry that was at Toasted on Jan Smuts. And let me stop describing it and you can listen to it / watch it, because remember, this podcast is available on your favorite podcast player, RSS feed, Spotify, Apple Music, as well as on YouTube if you want to see what we look like and how awkward we look, or maybe you just want to see how beautiful Toasted is, Toasted on Jan Smuts. But yeah, rambling again, so here we go. So we were working at an agency. Well, I was, and there was a little bit of a lull in the office, and you know how people are sometimes touchy with the things that are in the fridge and whatever, and this person burst into the room holding a bag of rotisserie chicken and was like, who had a piece of my chicken? I can definitely see someone's had this. Like, when I opened it, it was like a Ziploc bag. I've seen someone's had a piece of my chicken, what's the deal? And so she just burst into the agency, into the studio, and then she was like, I hope you enjoyed, whoever it was, I hope you enjoyed that piece of chicken, because I rubbed it all over my vagina and I have syphilis and gonorrhea. Yeah.
But also we all know that didn't happen.
That happened to me and us, whoever was in the...
Yes, but she obviously didn't rub it anywhere.
No, she didn't.
Like logically that makes no sense.
But I'm just saying, to say that.
Yeah, no, it's intense.
Yeah. So it's those kind of stories where I'm like, does this happen in finance? If you're working in finance or at a law firm, do people behave in such a way? And what drives them to behave in such a way? It's like chicken and egg situation. Does the industry attract those kind of people? Or are people like that because of the industry? You know, they're like, I'm here and it's just like kind of loose and everyone's like happy-go-lucky, cool, I can do whatever I want and infringe on people's, I don't know, like personal space. So it's those kind of things. Has there anything, do you have friends that are in finance that say, hey, what's it like working in an ad agency? Do you guys just doodle all day? That kind of stuff.
No, I think the biggest question I get, is it like Mad Men? It's like, no.
Does it feel like a stock standard job? And if does it really? So let's take it that way.
We're behind like guests all day.
Right?
Yeah.
It's not as like fun and exciting as they made it out to be in the pamphlet.
No.
It's a fucking desk job.
It is, but it's still like fun. We get to like create new things every day, but it's not like as crazy as other people paint it up to be.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, do your friends like say, hey, like, what did you get up to this week? And then you'll be like, hey, I was on shoot, that kind of stuff. I think that's where.
Okay. Yeah. People think I'm cool because I get to do that stuff. Like, they'll see my stories of like in studio, and they're like, oh, you're so cool. I'm like, no. It took 6 months to create that, and now, like, after several nights of just working, now it's a real thing.
Yeah.
It's
Which
actually
is nice.
work.
Yeah.
The best part is seeing your babies being born.
Yeah.
Like, oh, that's I'm proud
Yeah.
of that.
It's really amazing.
Whereas I'm sure other people, when they do like a really sweet Excel, they're like, fucking nail this Excel. Look at the spreadsheet.
The story.
Look at this pivot table. Have you ever seen such a sexy pivot table?
You've just got your laptop there with an Instagram story. It's just an Excel spreadsheet.
Hey? Excel for life.
But I've seen people in account management get excited about spreadsheets.
They really do.
Yeah. It's interesting.
Yeah.
Super
Yeah.
interesting.
Okay, so the question I will ask you, which is something that Jacque and I have discussed, is that it's interesting for us, and I know you work a bunch of late hours, you wake up early and you start working. Do you feel like it's warranted? Because it's kind of like when you're coming up with an idea or a line, there's no right line. You eventually arrive at it and it feels right, but you can always like craft, So there's no stopping. And I think if you are at another place or another, whether it's a law firm or you're on a project and it feels like there's progress being made. Okay, cool, we've litigated here, we've done this thing, we're making headway. And once the case is done, yes, they can reopen it later. But if you're working on a concept, it's like, when is it done? Sometimes we solve it in the first 3 hours and you'll end up going back to it. So is it about like burning all the bridges and saying this was the right bridge? How do you feel that process works for you?
Well, I can tell you when it's done. When account management says done. When traffic is like you're done.
You're on the time.
Yeah, you're on the time.
So what you're saying is, in essence, you can do anything for 3 days, and then when they say, cool, it's done, you'll be like, well, this is it. It's like you're spinning a wheel. I'm doing these ideas. Okay, time is up there. That's the one we're going for.
When I was in high school, our art teacher said that exact thing. She's like, an artist is never finished.
Yeah.
You just run out of time.
Yeah.
And I think that's pretty true. Even like whether you're doing fine art or in your industry, like you can finesse, you can paint something with gouache for hours and hours and hours. At some point, you have to go, fuck it. I'm done now. I've run out of time or chaos or energy for this thing. And now those people are kind of cams.
Yeah.
The managers go, you're done. Finish up.
But the issue I find with that is we're in an like infinite mindset. So we're in an infinite mindset where we have like finite kind of, because if you think about creativity, they teach you to have like infinite thinking, just like possibilities are endless. So you're in that mindset, but then you're trying to mix it with the business structure where it's like, but we need to make money off this, creative mindset, this infinite mindset, which is a finite thing, because at the end of the day, you need to build a client, you need to, cash the check. Then I think there's a bit of friction there, because then it's like, oh, I need to be creative, but also in these constraints. How do you deal with that?
Sorry, I was listening. My brain just shut off a little bit.
I know this tapestry is beautiful.
I'm just going to check this thing. Sorry.
Okay, cool. Go ahead.
Thank you for your answer.
We'll carry on.
Yeah, still got lots
So
of...
time constraints, and then you were saying...
No, I'm just saying, like...
You're saying...
I don't know.
You know, you're saying something really important.
The tapestry is beautiful.
No.
No, I'm just...
coffee.
No, I was just saying, we've got this infinite mindset where it's like, we're supposed to be out of the box, creative thinkers, possibilities are endless, as well as, stay within these constraints. We've got budgets, we need timesheets, we need... So they're asking us to be like super creative, but they're also hindering us with this other thing. So which one is it? Are we meant to be just efficient workers? We pump it out, which is kind of like where I'm at in my career, because I can justify it. It's like, cool, if I do X amount of banners and whatever, you guys are gonna make money. And if I do it in less hours, like you can charge more hours. You can say that it's done at that time, because we know maybe some workers are a bit more efficient and quicker. So I'm making a profit. So that's how I've kind of like angled it.
I think it's like twofold, right? Like on one hand, I'm super grateful that we have deadlines, because I would never finish anything. Because I'm just one of those people who literally will just stay on something forever and maybe not have it out in the world. So I like time frames. I like that. But at the same time, you can't... Clients, man. Like that's... like clients, and then they always try to say like, this line's better, and it's like, I studied for 4 years technically, and you're gonna tell me that line's better. It's not.
Because they also have to put a few hours on their timesheet, so if they approve things straight up, what are they going to put on their timesheets? I approved this concept 5 minutes.
Yeah.
No, they're going to be like revert, okay, 16 hours, cool.
They don't do timesheets, that's the other thing.
Clients do timesheets, on client side they do. They've got KPIs and KPAs.
But do they do timesheets? They go sit and attend this meeting for 1 hour.
Yes.
Really?
Yes.
I've never seen a client do a timesheet. I've worked with clients, like in the
So I'm not talking about your freelance client, I'm talking about at a big institution,
No, I'm
an
talking about like a big-
account manager. Yeah, no, they have to clock in 8 hours a day.
We
Just
used
like
to talk to a
us.
client.
Yeah, we'll get one in season 3
Yeah.
coming up. This is the final episode of season 2, by the way. Just putting it out there.
I
No,
know.
we saved the best for last.
Exactly. Took you out,
Yeah,
brought you to a nice place, like you don't want to go to
everyone
nice
else.
apartments.
Yeah, everyone else got like a couch and like lukewarm coffee and a cookie.
If that.
I'm just kidding. All previous guests, they're not gonna watch this. They've given up.
They're like, I've done my time, fuck it.
So that's it for the show, and I call it a show. It's actually just me talking into a laptop, recording it and uploading it to the internet. The internet various channels on the internet, YouTube, Spotify, RSS feed, Apple Music, a whole bunch for you to listen to / not listen to, or watch or not watch. That is up to you. I'm just putting it out there into the ether for you guys out there who are potentially listening to the show. I'd like to give a big shout out to Kevin Schmidlin of Grow the Show, who got in contact with us. And that podcast is about basically growing your show. If you're a up and coming podcaster and you want to grow your show. So very simple. So I've taken on board some of Kevin's advice, and the first piece of advice being be specific. So that's why we are no longer Bleed Advertising, the show about advertising it more. We are now Bleed Advertising, creative talk without the Kool-Aid. I need to get used to it still. Maybe there's a bit of irony because we've still got our Kool-Aid-y traits, but we're trying to be less Kool-Aid-y and less affected by the indoctrinations of corporate culture. And that's what our show is about. It's about just talking about creative stuff without being, for lack of a better term, wanky. Anyways, that's it for the show. Big thanks to Jacque Moodley, Falcone, the art director, and Bernice Puleng, the copywriter, poet, and filmmaker, and awkward human. We had a great time at Toasted, run by Maria Lewis. I'm just rattling off so many plugs at the end of the show. But big thanks to Maria Lewis for hosting us that particular day. If you would like to listen to the full episode, it's called Art with an Actual Income, and that's on Spotify and also YouTube. Those are our two main ones, but Apple Music, RSS feed, as I mentioned before. The full episode. This is, of course, just the highlights. I'm just giving you, the best parts. As you can see, I'm running out of words, and it is time to go. So I'll maybe see you guys next week. See/listen/ you'll hear me. That's how this works. Okay, I'm out.
You don't have to take